See you too.
Why don't we stand so we can flag to the U.S. flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
and to our beloved Texas.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. We're going to go ahead with a different mic. We're going to go ahead and y'all continue eating, but while you're eating, we have a very, very long list of introductions. I will tell you that normally those that sponsor are about 1/3 of the group here, and tonight it's 2/3. So I will say with a guest like Senator Ted Cruz, it's very easy to get people to come show up at a dinner. So Senator, thank you so much. This is put on by the Smith County Republican Club, also the Smith County Republican Women's Club, and the Republican Party of Smith County. And, you know, our purpose really as a club is one is to promote great candidates for Republicans, and second is to provide education out there. So again, we appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to introduce sponsors as you stand. If you will hold your applause till each group, and then I'll cue you for applause. But first off, our event sponsors, Brian and Lisa Clark and Brandon Steele. If you would stand to be recognized. Our gold sponsors, David and Sharon Emmert, Drs. Tom and Margarita de la Garza Graham, Russell Lindsay, Linebarger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson, Jim Lambeth, Jamal Mohair, and Jeff Worthen. Jeff couldn't be with us tonight. Those that are here, if you would stand, be recognized. Silver sponsors, Gary Alfred is Smith County Justice of the Peace, Jeff Austin, who cannot be with us tonight, Bob Brewer, D.M. Edwards, Jack and Marion Hicks, Tim McCormick, who is our GOP party chairman, Jim Perkins, Jack and Dr. Hope Short, and Commissioner Jeff Ward. You would stand to be recognized. Bronze sponsors, Rocky and Terry Gill, Diane Heindel, State Rep Brian Hughes, District Judge Christy Kennedy, Suzanne Mitchell, Skip and Stephanie Ogle, Dr. Stephen and Diane Rizak, District Judge Jack Steen, Dennis and Carolyn Taylor, and the hat lady, Connie Ware. Elected officials, we got a bunch of you guys here, so as I introduce you, if you would stand or remain standing, and at the end, we're going to just applaud for you as a group. From Senator John Cornyn's office, Llewellyn Lowe. From State Rep Matt Schaefer's office, we have Jennifer Alden. We have State Representative Brian Hughes. Judge Bill Stout. I'm not sure if Judge is still with us, but he came earlier. Larry Smith, our newly elected Smith County Sheriff. Jeff Ward, County Commissioner. Terry Phillips, County Commissioner, both of Smith County. From the 12th Court of Appeals, Justice Sam Griffith, Justice Jim Worthen, Justice Brian Hoyle. District Judges, Christy Kennedy from the 114th, and Judge Jack Steen from the 241st. Judge Randall Rogers, County Court of Law Number 2. Judge Floyd Getz, County Court of Law Number 3. Karen Phillips, County Clerk. Andy Dunklin, Constable, Precinct 2. Martin Hines, we didn't forget you, Martin. Tyler City Councilman. Janie Valenta is the Wood County Republican Chair. Cole Hefner is the County Commissioner for Upshur County, and Gary Barber is the Smith County Tax Collector. I don't think there's anybody still sitting left in the room. Please greet our elected officials. Thank you so much. Now there's two things that I'm really excited about tonight. One, we've already told you about having Senator Cruz here. One of the the things you notice about a lot of these gatherings is that a lot of us have either gray hair or no hair. Because of your sponsorship, we were able to invite 3 special student groups to this gathering, and they helped seat you, they helped direct you, but I really want you to welcome these guys because they are the future of our party. When I am old and drooling on myself in a corner, I need people who are going to continue out there and think I'm still a good guy. So with that, we have the Robert E. Lee High School Young Republicans. We have the UT Tyler Constitutional Conservatives. And we also have a group from Teen Pact. So as best I counted, Senator, I think there's another 20 votes coming for you. Club officers, just people within the party, I want to recognize we've got a brand new county chairman recently appointed, and that's Tim McCormick. Our Smith County Republican Club, our first vice president is Dr. Jeffrey Owens. Tom Drashel is our secretary. Hank Herring is our treasurer, and David Pearson is our parliamentarian. If you guys would stand. We could not do this without the Smith County Republican women. Karen Hughes, President, Molly Harrington, Vice President, Suzanne Mitchell, Secretary, and Carolyn Taylor, Treasurer and PAC Chair. Now our silent auction is going to close very, very shortly, so if you will, let's take 5 minutes. If there's anything you would like to bid on in the silent auction out there, or go find what your neighbor bid and then outbid them by $5, that is perfectly acceptable. All of that goes to the Smith County Republican Club, so take 5 minutes, and they're going to return, and we'll introduce Senator Cruz.
Good luck. Lunch.
take your class where you get there. Those in front of you. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and get started with the reason that everyone is here. And we'll go ahead and close off the silent auction. And we'll announce those winners tonight, as you will. You know, it's not normal. And first of all, by the way, if anybody did not get a name tag, I greatly apologize, but I forgot my own, by the way. So you're in good company. But you know, it's not normal to give an introduction to the guy who's going to give an introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. You know, I first met Jason Wright at a Rotary Club dinner. I think it was 2005, 2004, somewhere around there. And he really impressed me as a very bright, young, energetic individual, and somebody that I would really get to enjoy knowing as a peer. That is until I discovered that he was born the same year that I graduated high school. But honestly, what I thought about Jason was that he's the kind of an individual that goes out and accomplishes the things that everybody else talks about doing and never does. And he's proven to be true with that. And I'm glad that he's in this Tyler community. I'm glad he decided to move here. I'm glad he decided to work with Senator Cruz. And you know that I don't say this flippantly. I'm really glad you're my friend. So please come up and introduce your boss. Okay, well, so the first time that I ever had the opportunity to introduce a United States Senator, he's my boss. So no pressure there, right? You know, around Christmas time, Harry and I were faced with, out of the blue, an unexpected, life-changing decision. I received the incredible news that Senator Ted Cruz wanted an office in East Texas, and I'm glad he wanted an East Texas office. And then all of a sudden, there was another opportunity involved. I was asked if I would consider joining the staff of Senator Ted Cruz. Now, I have to tell you all, for me, this was not an easy decision, simply because of the time and dedication that I put in here. But after about 5 minutes of truly considering this and talking to Carrie, I said, sweetheart, we got an incredible opportunity. And yes, it is an honor to work for a United States Senator. But that's not what this was about. This was about joining Senator Ted Cruz in his work. Most of you know that I'm not just kissing up because the boss is here, because you've heard me say these things for the last 2 years. Because I knew that Senator Ted Cruz was the right man for the job. Senator Cruz was raised by a political refugee who escaped to the United States of America with nothing but $100 in his underwear, sewn in, finds his way to Austin, Texas, works his way through the University of Texas, and then he has a son. And he raised Senator Cruz to love America, to value our principles, to value hard work. While other teenagers were out doing what teenagers do, Senator Cruz was memorizing the Constitution, word for word, and then would challenge you to debate it. He went on to Princeton, then to Harvard Law, and then eventually became a clerk to Judge William Rehnquist. But now here's one of the most important things of Senator Cruz's background. Senator Cruz became the Solicitor General of the state of Texas, and often people would ask me throughout the campaign, what is a Solicitor General? And I love describing it, especially as I'm speaking about Senator Cruz. As you all know, we Texans are pretty independent folks, and we cherish that greatest of documents that restrains our government and allows us as people to be free and exercise liberty and pursue happiness. Well, anytime you mess with a Texan, you're in trouble. You mess with the Constitution, you're really in trouble. And if you do mess with our constitutional rights, it was Senator Ted Cruz, the Solicitor General of Texas, that we sent to the Supreme Court to defend those rights, and he did it more prolifically than any Solicitor General in the state's history. So yes, Senator Cruz is my boss. But the greatest benefit I have, folks, someone asked me, are you working tonight? I'm here as a volunteer. I'm honored to be here. And I am so thrilled to get to introduce to you my boss, but most importantly, our United States Senator, Ted Cruz.
Thank you so very much, and I'm so incredibly fortunate and grateful that Jason came to join our team and to be our representative here on the ground in Tyler every day. It is great to be back in East Texas with so many dear friends. The last 2.5 years, I was blessed to spend a lot of time up here in Tyler, up here all throughout East Texas. And as you all remember, when we started this campaign 2.5 years ago, there wasn't practically a soul on the planet who thought we had a prayer. When we started in January of 2011, I was at 2% in the poll. And the margin of error was 3%. And Joanne, you know, I'm not making those numbers up. That was our real polling, and we were crazy enough, we were excited to be at 2%. We went through a $50 million primary. Most expensive primary in the entire country. Had $35 million of attack ads run against us. Midway through, my wife Heidi was watching all the TV ads. She turned to me and said, "Goodness gracious, I didn't realize you were such a rotten guy." And something incredible happened. We saw men and women all over the state of Texas come together, tens of thousands, pouring their heart into this campaign. We saw people like Margarita and Tom Graham, and Risa and Brian Clark, and Jason, and Joanne. And y'all know what a wilting wallflower Joanne is. And so many others just begin knocking on doors, begin making phone calls, getting on email, on Facebook, on Twitter, reaching out everywhere. Despite being outspent 3-1, we went from 2% to not just winning the primary, but winning by 14 points and then winning the general election by 16. That was an incredible testament to the grassroots. It was an incredible testament to what the men and women in this room can do. Thanks to y'all's incredible work, we overcame unbelievable odds, and y'all sent me to Washington, where I've received such a very warm welcome. So thanks a lot. Well, and you may not know, actually, our campaign was run by an East Texan. A fellow named Jason Johnson ran the campaign. He's from Mount Pleasant. The New York Times described Jason as a, quote, scrappy East Texan with a touch of mad genius. So my nickname for Jason throughout the campaign was Touch of Genius. And I told him, I said, Jason, the one problem is if the New York Times is saying nice things about you, I'm not sure we can work together. But it has been incredible. It really is a privilege to serve at a time when I think the stakes have never been higher. Amen. You know, November 2012 was an ugly, ugly day at the ballot box. Republicans got clobbered. And yet, I got to tell you, I am deeply, deeply optimistic going forward. And what I want to share with you is two things I think we should do going forward. Number one, stand for principle. And number two, champion growth and opportunity. Let's talk about them one at a time. Stand for principle. You know, something interesting has been happening the last few weeks up in Congress. Republicans have been standing up. A few weeks ago, I was proud to stand with my friend Senator Rand Paul and participate in a 13-hour filibuster. Now, that morning began with Attorney General Eric Holder testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee. And I took the opportunity to ask him, I said, General Holder, in your judgment, does the Constitution allow the United States government to use a drone to kill a U.S. citizen on U.S. soil if that individual doesn't pose an imminent threat? And his response to me was, well, I don't think it would be appropriate to do so. And I said, General Holder, you seem to have misunderstood my question. I'm not asking about propriety. I might note he was not there testifying as an etiquette columnist. I said, you are the chief legal officer for the United States of America. Does the Department of Justice have an opinion on whether the Constitution allows the U.S. government to kill a U.S. citizen on U.S. soil if that individual doesn't pose an imminent threat? And again, he said, well, I don't think it would be appropriate. He seemed genuinely confused. 3 times he said that. Maybe it's just to liberals. What's appropriate and constitutional are one and the same. But he seemed utterly confused. What is this Constitution of which you speak? And I have to say that the sentiment that was expressed seemed to really be saying, don't you trust me? And you know what? If he had asked me that, I would have said, no, we don't trust